Hi everyone, my name is Brian Ashline. I am the Coding and Robotics Innovation Lab instructor. Today we're going to be going over the class Coding and Robotics, obviously. We'll also kind of touch upon like what the innovation labs are in general throughout the year. The easiest way to contact me is by my email address, which you can see down there on my screen. It's brian.ashline@nccsk12.org. If you'd like to email me and have me call you back, leave me your phone number and I'll be happy to do that. You can also call me and leave me a voicemail, but sometimes they just take a little while for me to get to, while my email I'm checking like on a regular basis. That is the best way to reach out to me to begin with. In my class, and honestly in the innovation labs in general, we're not your typical kind of class. These classes are really designed to allow kids to explore, experiment, and kind of find the passion that they have for education. And, maybe your kid really loves coding and robotics, which is fantastic. And maybe, honestly, they don't really have a passion for that yet, which is okay too. The whole goal to the innovation labs is across the 6 different labs that we are able to find what really resonates with your particular student and what really gives them a passion for their education. So in this classroom, we're primarily learning through experimenting. Every day I give a short lesson, and then we spend a lot of time with activities and working, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, modifying things, and making it better. So we do some research too as we start running into some issues and trying to find some solutions to those issues. And as we're learning, it's really important that the students are helping one another. One of the things that we say, one of our axioms for the innovation labs is we are all teachers and we are all students. Every day I'm learning something new from my students. Every day my students are learning something new from me, hopefully. And also, it's important that the students are learning and teaching one another as they move forward. In this classroom, it is okay to make mistakes. As we go through these classes, there are no grades associated with them, So the whole point of this is really to inspire students and give them an outlet to kind of grow their horizons and determine what their passion is. So in coding and robotics, we're going to spend 5 or 6 weeks in this particular lab. Throughout the year, students are going to rotate from one lab to the next as a cohort. So right now they're with me. Another couple weeks from now, they're going to be moving on to their next innovation lab. Over the time that they're with me, we're going to be learning about 3 main topics: Ozobots, SPLATS, and microbits. I also have additional opportunities after school. I do have a robotics club, but that's limited to 7th and 8th graders. So next year, the 6th graders can join that. I limit that specifically because there's just so many students who are interested in the club, and the 6th graders already have the 6-week block with me. So that club is something that they can join later on. We also have open lab times during the days. My open labs are either 1st period or 4th period, depending on the week. It changes. So if students have study halls during those times, they can come see me in the morning, sign out a pass, and then come and see me during that particular period that is open that week. So Ozobots are these robots here, and you can kind of get a sense for their scale down in this picture here. There's 2 main ways to code Ozobots. Natively, they follow lines. And we spent about a week playing with the line drawings. The kids really enjoy it. It introduces a lot of concepts like input, process, and output to them, and really gets them excited about the class and excited about the Ozobots themselves. We then move into programming the Ozobots and actually creating something that they can follow. So for instance, we have sensors on our Ozobots like speakers. That's really an output actually. Sensors like our ultrasonic distance sensors. We have line sensors on the bottom. We have some LEDs that we can program and output some information. So the kids will design dances. They'll design obstacle avoidance programs. and like a myriad of other activities as well. We're going to talk about sequences of code. We're going to talk about processes as we go through, putting comments and stuff like that. The next thing that we move into is SPLATS. We'll spend about 2 weeks on this unit as well. SPLATS are these tiles. They're actually like 8 inches by 8 inches. Students program them. They have lights that we can program different colors in. They have sound, and they're a big button. And we can like hit these things with our hands. We can also actually like stand, step, and jump on them as well. So like this student here is playing race in place, where we like see how many footsteps the SPLATS can count within 10 seconds, or how many times you can like press the SPLATS in 10 seconds. Here my students are playing red light, green light in the hallway with the SPLATS. And over here we see some students like programming the SPLATS. So SPLATS are a really fun activity because it like gets kids up and moving and excited, working together and having a really good time while also learning through programming. And lastly, this is new this season, so I don't have any pictures of my students yet, but we're going to be dealing with microbits in here. Microbits are small programmable microcontrollers. We can use them both independently, where we can like have lights in there. There's buttons. There's actually an accelerometer in there, so we can measure yaw and can measure like front and back and left and right. And it's kind of like a Nintendo Switch controller or a Wii controller, if you're familiar with those. We can also plug them into like expansion ports, similar to this robot cart, which we have. So students can then use and like program the robo cart, and similar to the Ozobots, it has a lot of the same sensors, but different than that. Also, we can do a lot more. For instance, we can communicate. These can communicate to one another. So we can program one of them to be a remote control, and we can actually like use those sensors that allow us to move it and measure its pitch to like actually control the robot itself. We also are going to be using some like LED screens. We can program like different LEDs as well. And we're going to do some breakout boards so we can play with like some servos and some different things there. So yeah, my goal here is really to expose students to coding and robotics, hopefully get them excited about it, but more importantly, just make them understand like if it is something that they are interested in. We're always working in here. We're always kind of like up and moving and having a good time, which is my goal in every class, is for my students to enjoy learning about coding and robotics. So hopefully they're coming home and telling you guys about all the great things that we're doing in class. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out to me by email at brian.ashline@nccsk12.org. And I hope everybody and all of your students have a great year. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.